Good evening, everyone. I appreciate the opportunity to be here tonight to discuss the results of the 2018 audit in draft form. Before I get started, I want to thank Robin, Dr. Sargent, and Sue, and all the staff that helped us get to this point. As you may or may not know, normally at this point in time, we're finalized with the audit, and you're approving the audit tonight in its final form. But unfortunately, we are all in the same boat. All school districts are in the same situation where we are waiting for certain information from the state under a new standard regarding retiree health benefits. And we were told originally we'd have the information by mid-November, then December. Now we're hearing January, maybe even February. That was the latest we heard. And the state is going to be coming out with a memo, hopefully by the end of the week, which is going to move the deadline from 12/5 to 12/21, and now probably into January sometime. We've been in touch with the state today, and that's what their game plan is, but they didn't share what was going to be in the memo. Just so it's clear, though, the information that's going to go in the report that you have before you or has been distributed is not going to have anything that's going to change that's going to affect any decision making by the board. So again, it's just more disclosures that are required, and they are significant, but they will not affect any decisions you make going forward, no matter how late we get the information. We did meet on Monday with the Finance Committee. We spent a lot of time going over the specifics of the draft financial statements, and tonight I just want to give you a brief overview and then open it up to the board to ask any questions that they would like to. The most important component is the opinion. The state information is not going to change that. Based on the procedures we performed, it'll be an unmodified opinion or a clean opinion, which is the highest level of an opinion an our audit firm can place on an audit. I also want to recognize Robin and the board for an award that was received this year for the first time. It was the Certificate of Excellence in International Reporting from ASBO International. And I know Robin asked last year if she could try to go for it, and we worked with her and did that. And I'm happy to report that normally districts do not receive it in the first year they apply, and this district did. So I want to congratulate you for receiving that award that I believe you received sometime earlier in the summer or spring. So congratulations on that. Some of the audit highlights. Before I get into some of the specific numbers, I remember 2 years ago we were here talking about not being able to generate fund balance and having to cut some capital items out of the future budgets. And in finance and in the board, I remember individuals on the board stating that, well, we're going to have to make some tough decisions now, but in 2 years, the game plan is to get back to where we were. And I'm happy to report the results of this year's audit have gotten you back there, where you've generated the surplus that you need to balance your budget. And then you've also come up with a little bit more that you can now utilize for, my recommendation would be use it for one-time items for future capital-related items that you've pulled out in past budgets, but that would be my recommendation. At June 30th, 2018, you have just over $2 million still in the cap reserve, which must be used for capital purposes. You have an emergency reserve of $265,000, all of which was used in the 18-19 budget. Both reserves were within statutory limits. As I mentioned, you generated surplus where 2 years ago you didn't generate any surplus over 2%. This year you got it back to the 3%, and then it went over that as well again as a result of good operating results for the fiscal year. From a management report perspective, I'm very happy to report that there are no internal control or compliance findings we identified during the course of the audit, which is, I believe, 2 consecutive years with no findings that you will have to take any corrective action on. So overall, I think you should be pleased with the results of the draft audit, and at this point, I would be more than happy to open it up with any questions that the board may have.
Thank you very much. Board members, do we have any questions? Ms. Scogan. That's okay.
For the board members who just want to see that one schedule that really has all the numbers, is that the C1?
It is the C1, yes.
I mean, I know the report is very lengthy, and that most of you, aren't going to go through the whole thing, but the C1 is really the report that, if you're going to look at it, that's the one you want to look at.
It's about 6 pages, and it has all the revenues and expenses, and pretty much matches your board secretary's report that you would get on a monthly basis.
Cogan.
Sorry, in your procedures, do you do analytics to look at percentages to make sure that expenses, like administrative expenses or anything like that, are in line with what is expected? And did you see anything unusual or unexpected in ours?
Yes, we do, and based on all the different funds and all the different analytics we performed, there was nothing that really stood out as being unusual.
Thank you. Anyone else?
Or under, I was gonna say, did you find, do you do that in comparison to other districts? Or just in ours?
It's really, we're doing analytics just to compare your expenditures and revenues against your budget and against the prior year for unusual transactions that might lead us to a misstatement. So it's really just internal, is where but sometimes we'll benchmark to see what other people are getting and so forth, but most of it's just internal.
Right, because at some point, someone had given us the information that the amount of, for example, administrators, supervisors that we have is low for the type of district the size of our district.
Mm-hmm.
So that, I mean, that would go in line with, that we're not, we're not meeting the maximum of that.
Yeah, you're not over what the usual the median would be for those type of expenditures. So we look at that a little bit, but that's not really the result of the financial audit.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, thank you, everyone. Scott, thank you very much. I appreciate it.
Thank you, I appreciate it.
Thank you.